All right. Hello, ladies. Happy Thursday and happy Halloween to everybody. How's everyone doing today? Thanks so much for joining me. Today actually probably aligns really well with Halloween because we're going to talk about how to stop binge eating and how to stop that late night snacking. I would say, like, probably one of the biggest things that I see or comments that I notice when people join our community is that they want to stop binge eating. That this is like one common thing that they really, really wish to stop. When I ask them what are your struggles? Like, what do you want to stop doing? I probably like one out of every five people that come into the community say binge eating. So basically, what I want to talk about today is how to stop binge eating and late night snacking. For those of you that are watching live with me today, pop it in the comment section if this is something that you struggle with or you have struggled with before in the past. Say hello. Let me know that people are here so I don't feel like I'm talking to myself, but pop that in the comment section below. So, like, this is a potential reason, as like I'm going to share, insight on one of the potential reasons as to why you can't stop yourself from late night snacking. And no, the solution isn't to never eat another cookie again. Late night snacking and or weekend indulgences are really two of the most common self-identified goal stoppers. And I'm going to tell you why this is happening and some actionable steps that you can take today to stop it. So, in other words, if you were to survey a bunch of people and ask them, what's preventing you from reaching your fitness goals, the most common answer would be lack of consistency. I see this personally myself when people come and join the group. Like, what are your issues? What are your struggles? I'm not consistent enough. I binge eat. I can't stop myself from snacking. A lot, like, these are very, very common things that I hear. But when we peel back the layers of what that they mean by lack of consistency, it's often revealed that these hard-working women feel like they do really well with their nutrition during the day. And then at the end of the night, they end up snacking or overindulging, even when they come home from work, starting at dinner time up until nighttime. Or they've been able to stay really dialed in during the week with their nutrition, and then they let it go all out the window over the weekend. So let's first address why that happens, and then we can actually solve the problem. Typically, most of us with a fat loss goal have done our research on what it takes to lose fat. So inevitably, you've read an article, blog, or followed someone, or even enrolled in a program that taught you about calorie versus calories out. And so every diet out there, including like macro counting programs, will tell you that a calorie deficit is required for fat loss to occur. And that is true. We do need a calorie deficit. They'll tell you also to burn more calories than you consume. They'll give you a formula so you can estimate how many calories you burn on a daily basis, and then they'll suggest you eat less than that. But how much less? It really depends on the program. Some are more extreme than others, but the basic premise is the same across the board. What often happens in these scenarios is that you follow their recommendations for a little while, but it eventually becomes unsustainable because a lot of them really make you cut your calories drastically low. And this is where late night snacking and weekend binges come into play. Eating too little is a stress on the body. So if you're eating like 1,000 or 1,200 calorie meal plan, it is very stressful to your body. And most of us, how many of us already have a lot of daily stress in our lives? Comment yes in the comment section, like between work, personal life, raising your kids, paying your bills, and plenty of other stuff going on around us. And then on top of that, we also have the stressor of undereating. And we often operate in a state of chronic stress. Then we add diet stress, negative thoughts around food, working out, and displeasure with our bodies on top of that. and find ourselves securely planted in the constant restrict and binge cycle. How many of you guys feel like you're in this cycle right now? Hi, Cindy. I'm working on not eating so late, Maria saying. Okay. That is a good strategy to help working on not eating late. We're going to talk about some strategies of what you can be doing right now, okay? So here's what happens when we chronically undereat. We end up draining our willpower because we're always tired and hungry. We battle through the entire day by making sound decisions, but after a long day of work, it all comes down crashing down. You make thousands of micro decisions all day, and by the time you're ready to finally sit down and relax, your battery is drained. And you know what that sounds really appealing to a fixed and drained battery? Energy. But not just any type of energy. Your body wants quick energy. So once your brain and body gets a taste of that, like first bite of a cookie, all bets are off. Your body has been deprived, so it's grateful for that immediate energy. And your brain is tired of working so hard, so it wants more of that dopamine hit you're providing. Before you know it, there's no more cookies left, and you may be down a bottle of wine too. So is it really about your consistency? Is it really a matter of just having more willpower? In my experience, not at all. One of the easiest ways to fix this pattern is to make sure you're eating enough food. And not just enough overall calories, but also enough of the right foods to help prevent this cycle. So how do you know how much food is enough food? Well, for starters, if you're stuck in this restrict and binge cycle, it's a good indicator you should add more calories to seek balance. And this is something that we help our clients with. And this is why we're always looking at biofeedback markers like, are you craving food? Are you binging? Things like that. So how can you stop this? So number one, the first thing that we want to be doing is we want to typically start off with more protein and veggies. So prioritizing protein and also fiber. High protein rich diets and fiber rich diets are more satisfying and can keep you full longer. So we want to aim for 30 plus grams of protein per meal, and also include fiber rich vegetables, fruits, or whole grains to reduce those late night cravings. So foods that are high in fiber are like fruits, especially is like raspberries and blackberries are really high in fiber. You could do things like, actually we have let me look this up, a whole fiber cheat sheet that I'm going to pull up here of high fiber foods. But just to kind of give you an example, right? So we want broccoli is very high in fiber, carrots, Brussels sprouts, spinach. For the fruit, we've got raspberries, blackberries, pears, and apples with skin on it. Bananas, avocados, really high in fiber as well too. When it comes to whole grains, we could be doing things like barley, oats, quinoa, brown rice, whole wheat pasta, starchy vegetables. So you've got russet potatoes or red potatoes, sweet potato, butternut squash. These all have a higher amount of fiber. And then legumes, so lentils, chickpeas, black beans, kidney beans, split peas, nuts and seeds, chia seeds are really high, flax seeds, and then some cereals, all brand buds, really high in fiber, fiber one, these are really great, and also some popcorn as well too. Okay, and then when it comes to protein sources, we want to be going for leaner protein sources like chicken breast, turkey breast, ground chicken, ground turkey. You could do Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, eggs, egg whites. All of these things can give you want to aim for 30 plus grams of protein. It's really going to depend on what your goals are and how many grams of protein overall you need throughout the day, but this is a very good place to start, okay? And one of the things that we notice is when a lot of our clients start coming to work with us is that one of the first things that they notice is their nighttime snacking or weekend snacking really completely goes away or stops just by eating more protein and prioritizing more vegetables and high fiber foods. So by doing this, you end up being more consistent overall versus living in like this all or nothing mode. And this really leads to quicker results and helping you really lose the body fat because you're more consistent, because you're eating more consistent meals throughout the day. Okay, you want to be eating, you know, when women join our one-on-one program, we create a customized plan for them to make sure that they're eating enough food and also the right types of food, which really prevents that diet roller coaster from even starting because they're consistently feeling satisfied so that they don't have this urge to binge. And we make sure that they get plenty of the things that we include, a lot of the plenty of things that they enjoy. So like if they want to go out to eat at a restaurant, maybe date nights, social events, that's all included so that they don't feel restricted, that they need to feel like they need to go and binge. The other thing that we want to look at is monitoring stress or how you're managing stress, okay? We want to look at stressors in your life so we can make sure that willpower isn't being drained, like I talked about before, so that you have a better shot at staying committed to the process. So many binge episodes stem from stress, boredom, or other emotions. So you want to take a few moments to check in with yourself when you feel the urge to snack. So one of the things that I say is like, okay, if you feel like you really want something, one of the things that you could do is create that space between you and that food. Okay, so create that space. Maybe get out of the kitchen. You know, create 10 minutes of space between that food and try and go do something else that you need to do. Like really ask yourself, do I really want this? Is it because I'm tired? Go away from there, create that 10 minute space and try and do something else, like visit, like either watch TV, listen to music, call a friend, do some deep breathing exercises. Maybe you can journal to try and create that space, and also creating an environment. Like for me, I try not to hang out in the kitchen at nighttime because I know that that might create me like, you know, wanting to have foods that I really just don't want. It could be that I'm just tired, I need to go to bed, and also creating that distance between you and the environment can help. Okay. The other thing that you want to be doing, number 4, is reduce high impact workouts that increase cortisol levels. Okay. So things like high impact HIIT, like these group boot camp classes, things that are really spiking your cortisol levels. This can cause you to be more hungry because your cortisol levels are spiked. So we really want to make sure that we are tweaking your exercise routine to just like strength training alone and maybe just walking so that we're not spiking cortisol levels, okay? The other thing is that we want to be eating consistent meals. So this is action item number 5. Don't skip meals and don't skip breakfast. Start your day with a protein-packed breakfast. This will keep you full. This will keep you satiated. You want at least 30 grams or more of protein in that breakfast. This will help regulate sugar levels, and it'll also prevent binge eating. Do you know that one of like women that fast are more likely to binge eat because they are delaying that first meal, that it's just dysregulating their ghrelin and leptin hormones, those hormones that are responsible for helping you make you feel full and satiated. And then what ends up happening is that they end up like, once they do start eating, they end up binge eating during that cycle. Okay. So skipping meals or going too long without eating can increase cravings, making it harder to resist binge eating later on. So you want to aim to have balanced meals with protein, carbs, and fats, and fiber every 3 to 4 hours to stabilize blood sugar levels and control hunger. Okay, so if you're going over that 3 or 4 hours, going 5 or 6 hours without eating, you're going to be more hungry. So having more balanced meals will help with that. Okay. The other thing that you want to be doing is ensuring you're getting adequate sleep, which I know it can be really hard, especially for women during perimenopause and menopause, because this is that decrease in estrogen and progesterone levels can create sleep issues. But you can go back and look at my training that I did like a couple weeks ago about how to get better quality sleep, but really creating a good evening routine or a sleep routine, establishing a consistent bedtime routine that involves relaxation, such as reading, stretching, practicing mindfulness, maybe taking a bath. This can help reduce the urge to snack. And also by getting better quality sleep, it's regulating those ghrelin and leptin hormones, so that, you're not feeling more hunger throughout the day. Okay. So these are really these 6 strategies that you can implement right away. For those of you, are blueberries high on fiber? They're not as high as blackberries and raspberries. So let's look at that right now. Blueberries, fresh, 100 grams. Just look at fiber. Yeah, not very high, no. So for 100 grams, it's only 0.02 grams of fiber. Whereas when we're looking at things like, let me just make sure that this is, I'm just looking this up. I just want to make sure this is correct that I'm telling you. I'm just looking on my database here, and I'll tell you right now. But raspberries and blackberries are more higher in fiber. Right. Just want to put 100 grams of blueberries. And let's look at the fiber on here. Oh, sorry. It's 2.4 grams. Okay, for 100 grams of blueberries. So it's 2.4 grams of fiber, whereas for 100 grams of blackberries and raspberries, you're getting 6.5, blackberries, you're getting 5.3. So you're getting a little bit of fiber in there. Sorry, that for initial one wasn't right that I told you. That's why I wanted to double check that. So yeah. So they have some fiber in it, but like you would probably need 3 times the amount that you can get from blackberries and raspberries. Okay, what other and again, hi Nancy, hi Val, hi Maria. Okay, so out of these 6 things that I told you about, what things can you start doing right away? If you're one of our clients, you're already doing enough protein, we're ensuring we're already eating enough protein, fiber, and calories. Maybe you need to work on some other things like managing stress, sleep routine. Out of these things that we talked about, what is one thing that you can start doing right away? Pop it in the comments section. And let me know what you feel is one of these action items that you could start taking right away on all of these things. Okay, so when our clients come and work with us, we really ensure that they're not doing too much of a deficit. We're making sure that they're eating enough food. We're constantly monitoring biofeedback markers, taking dieting breaks when we need to, through our one-on-one coaching program. Okay, so hopefully this was really helpful, ladies, and you can start taking some action on some of these things right away. If you're watching the replay, let me know as well too in the comment section what's something that you could do. Change my sleep routine. Yes, Nancy. And if you want, you can go back and look at the live training that I did a couple weeks ago. If you go to the guide section of this group, locking up my fridge or pantry. Yeah, that wasn't one of the things that I said, but how about we try and just eat more protein? That would help. But yeah, I do agree. Setting up your environment for success will help as well too. Getting out of the kitchen at nighttime will help as well too. But like, honestly, if we put these other things into place, like eating enough calories, eating more balanced meals, not going hours and hours without a meal, you should notice that this will help as well too. It's one of the first things that all of our clients notice when they work with us is that I don't crave the food that I did before. I don't even want it like I did before. And most of the times it's because they're having more balanced meals, eating enough protein, and they're having more fiber in their diets as well too. All right, ladies, thanks so much for joining me today. If you have any questions or if you're watching the replay, pop what you're going to do in the comment section, or just feel free to message me if you need any help through our one-on-one coaching program. We can definitely guide you along the way to get you to where you want to be with your goals. And hope you guys have an amazing Halloween. For those of you that have kids, enjoy it. My girls are being dressed up as Princess Daisy from Super Mario. And my daughter's actually dressed up as a Sephora bag. She's at that age now that she actually likes Sephora, which, it's the new craze with all these kids. But anyways, yeah, enjoy the day. Have a happy Halloween, everyone. And I'll see you next week with some more trainings for next week. Have a good one, everyone. Bye for now.